Sorry to have kept you waiting. It's just that I'm afraid my walk has become rather sillier lately. It's taking me longer to get to where I'm going. I wish someone would pay me to spend more of my time silly walking. This would add greatly to my happiness and possibly yours too. At least I think it would. But I haven't figured out a way to get paid for silly walking unless I could get a government grant.
I have a silly walk, and I'd like to obtain a government grant to help me develop it.
I see. May I see your silly walk?
Yes, certainly, yes.
If there were government subsidies for silly walks, if they gave me money to develop new walks, for example, or promised to buy a certain number of the walks I created, there would be more silly walks than there are now. Isn't that a great idea?
It's not particularly silly, is it?
With government backing, I could make it very silly.
You probably think it's not a great idea because silly walks are, well, they're silly. But even if you agreed with me that silly walks benefit society, there would be good reason to oppose subsidies for them. If people aren't willing to pay me to develop silly walks with their own money, it says people don't value them as much as other things I could do. I could flip hamburgers, walk dogs, sell used cars, or teach economics. Things people would pay for voluntarily. We'll get more silly walks with subsidies, but they'll be worth less to people than they cost to produce. That means the subsidies would waste resources. But what about other, more serious subsidies?
There's defense, social security, health, housing, education, silly walks.
What about subsidies for food? You might have seen a bumper sticker that says, "No farms, no food," or something like that. Some people have argued that food subsidies are necessary to ensure food security. Without subsidies, they say, we won't have enough food. But subsidizing food production is a lot like subsidizing silly walks. Yes, we'll get more food, but the subsidies will waste resources. It'll be food that costs more to produce than it's worth.
You're really interested in silly walks, aren't you?
Oh, rather.
Well, take a look at this then.
Maybe we should subsidize things that produce what economists call positive externalities, or spillover benefits. One example might be education. Don't we all benefit from having an educated citizenry? As a college professor, I know I benefit from having more students who pay for my services. Another example might be solar energy, which might improve air quality by reducing the amount of fossil fuel we burn. How do we know what to subsidize? Even if there are spillover benefits in theory, governments are really bad at figuring out which companies and technologies to subsidize. Even if we grant that markets might produce too little education and too little green energy, this hardly implies that government intervention will make matters better.
Ah, here's the coffee.